Here's what we're going to deal with today. Diane in Denmark here, rah, rah, rah. I hope you are ready for some fun and games. Boom, boom this morning. I'm going to be doing a short declutter of the games that we have here in the basement. And first off, hope you're fine and well this morning. I have had my skinny dip sea swim and I had my breakfast down there with my besties. We are really making the most of May, and I told you at the beginning of the month, you know, I'm doing this little project with my friend Steph, the Secret Slob. We're making the most of May, and one of my things was to be a wee bit creative, and I have dusted off my control journal, and I was making up some new detailed cleaning lists and declutter lists. And we are in Flylady Zone Sank, which is the living room this week. You saw me on Monday doing a quick clean in there, and I was knocking a few tasks off the list. And you can, if you want to see these, they're on my website, dianedenmark.com. And also I've come up with a little declutter list for me in each area. Things that I can work on. I don't need to work on all of them, but just if I've got 5 or 10 minutes to take a look at these things. And you've seen upstairs in the living room, we have the games that we use on a regular basis, things like Rummy Cub and Set and packs of cards. And down here in the basement, this is where I hang up clothes to dry during the winter, where I do my ironing. Down here, this is where we keep the family's extra games, and as you'll see in a minute, these are games that I've had since I was a child, other ones that we've bought recently, and it's a really good idea from time to time to, you know, as I always say, you know, take a wee step back, go through what you've got, because, you know, our tastes change. Maybe your children know what to play with them. Maybe there are some things that have got real sentimental value and you want to hold on to, but just by being aware of what we've got, that's the whole reason why I love the Flylady system, is that, you know, we're not having to do it all at once. You know, things change. You know, what kind of life are we living? Are we living a fantasy life? Are you holding on to things that maybe you think the kids might want and they're probably not going to want in 20 years time? So I've decided to go for a quick declutter of games. If you want to work along with me, maybe you want to just do some cleaning in Flylady Zone 5, or maybe you want to look through something else. Perhaps you have books in Flylady Zone 5, perhaps you have some knickknacks, you know, that you're just kind of used to seeing on top of, I don't know, your piano or your side table. Do you really want to keep them, or you want to change things around? So anyway, talking about around, I'm going to turn you around. Let's take a wee look. It's kind of difficult to film down here, but what I think is I'll show you what's on the shelf, and then I'll put them here and I'll go through them one by one. So let's, and I hope you're dressed to shoes. Beautiful sunshine here this morning, Denmark, and I've got, woohoo, got my white jeans on. And as I said, it's a mixture of things from my childhood and when the kids were smaller, and newer items. I have mine stacked vertically, yes, because it's easier to access them, but I'm just picking them like this, and I can tell you. This was a new addition. It's a Star Wars jigsaw puzzle, definite keeper. I've realised recently that any jigsaw puzzles really over 200 to 500 pieces, it just takes the fun out of it for us. It just takes too long for us to complete. So I actually recently decluttered a 1,000 piece of a Star Wars one, so that is good. But you know, you may be a different type. You may love puzzles of 1,000 or 5,000 pieces. Now this one, I have had this game. It's called One for the Pot. I've had this game probably, I think I got it for 11th, 12th birthday. And what it is a kind of, it looks a bit like Alice in Wonderland. And you've got this board, and inside, let me just show you, you've got a little teapot. And what you do is, this is quite funny, because you throw the dice, and then according to where you land, everybody gets their own teacup, and then it'll say, you know, when you stop, if you've got to put in like a sugar lump, these plastic sugar lumps, or a spoon, and then you do a squish squish of the teapot, and whoever's cup overflows first has lost the game. And I've just always loved this. I think it was because it was always like a little tea set. So I'm definitely hanging on to this. And it's seen better days, but we get it out from time to time. We've got the little characters who are moving along. So I'm going to keep one for the pot. That is a definite keeper. And it's not something I ever really play with, but that for me is a definite sentimental thing that I am going to be holding on to. And it's funny because that game has moved with me from Scotland to when I moved to work in Luxembourg in 1989, and then when we moved to Denmark in 1998. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons. This is not my, I think this is a newer one that the kids picked up somewhere. I'll check with the kids. Definitely not my cup of tea. This one, my son got this. This is another sentimental one. It's basically a Monopoly, and it's Spartanopoly. My son did an exchange year in the States, in Washington State. He was in an area called Sumner High School. So that's that belongs to him. So we're keeping that. Okay, Risk. I think this actually came from my mum and dad's house in Edinburgh. I'll check if they want to hold on to it. One of these fishing games, hold on to that, because we do have friends who've got small kids that can come to play occasionally, and the fish game, that's always fun. Monopoly, definite keeper. It's a classic. And another classic, I'm not so keen on Monopoly, but I do love this one, Cluedo. And this, I mean, you can tell by the looks of it how old this game is. I'm not going to open up because we may have written family names on the little scoreboards inside, but I love Cluedo. I think it's called Clue in a lot of other countries. So that's a definite keeper. Let me grab the next lot. Next lot, Ticket to Ride. I'll check with the family. I never learnt the rules for this, and I'm not sure we should hold on to it. Scrabble, that's a keeper. Monopoly, Big Bang Theory edition, I'll check, because I think we played it. It was one of those things, it seemed like a good gift at the time, and probably played it once. Word dominoes, I think I'm going to hand those on to a friend of mine who is a school teacher who works in one of the British schools here. I used to teach children English, and I used those things a lot, but I'm no longer teaching, and well, at least not English. So I'm going to give that to a friend. That'll go to my friend Anne-Marie, who you've seen on some of the close-up videos. Dominoes, love dominoes. I always used to play dominoes with my granddad. And I don't know if you have the same rule, but when you're down to one domino, you knock on the table and you say, I'm chapping. I don't know if it's a Scottish thing, but I'm chapping. That means I've got one domino left, so watch out, I'm almost finished. So every time I see or hear dominoes on the table, I'm chapping. I think of my granddad. Right, so that's definitely keeper. Chess set. My husband plays chess, mainly online these days. So we have quite a few chess set, and this must be one from his childhood. He was actually a Danish champion for, like, I don't know, 11-year-olds or something. Jig map. This is another one from Mum and Dad's house in Edinburgh. And it's a really fun jigsaw puzzle because it was maps of the world. And this one, you can see, and then you make the jigsaw, and then there were little bits where you'd fill in, like, the name of the, I don't know, can you see that there? The name of the city or town, Tierra del Fuego. So it was kind of like having there we go. It was kind of like having a bit of a geography lesson as well. So I'm going to hold on to that. That's a fun one. Right, Mastermind. And when I stack them vertically, I put a couple of elastic bands to stop everything falling apart. But I never understood the picture on the Mastermind box. But I love Mastermind as well. And another classic, Frustration, the one that goes and would kind of frustrate your parents. Okay, that one. And you know what? I think I got this one actually when I moved to work in Luxembourg, because it's got French. It's got French text on it. Right. Okay, on to that. That was the first shelf. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, I thought we needed some help with this. So look, I've also, the kids have got their Pokemon stuff down here. We just keep that in like a small suitcase. Can you see? Oh, the Pokemon paraphernalia. That's definitely being kept. That is not. We've got trading cards in here, and we've got erasers for pencils, and it's funny because the kids. Oh, hold on, you can't see it. Put it up here. The kids do like to look through these things occasionally. So anyway, Pikachu is definitely staying. Let me get this backpack off my back. Right, on to the next one. This is another game from my childhood, Colour Quads, and I'm sure you can probably find it still online and how you play it, but Parker had some really good games, so I'm going to keep that one. It's actually quite psychedelic colours, and you had to mix up or match up and make squares, so that one's keeping. Right, I just pop that one on the shelf. And then I have now actually I got this from a friend in Luxembourg, and she was Spanish. It's a Juego de la Oca, but I think that's going to go now. And actually I have a couple of Spanish friends in my ladies group. I'll ask them maybe if they want that one. So that's going as well. Let me just put that up behind you. Right, and also one of these compendiums of games. I'll ask the kids if they want to hold on to it, I'm not sure. Okay, another one of mine. You see, I'm the worst one in the family for wanting to hold on to these sentimental stuff. Ghost Train, another classic, or Dennis Fisher. Not sure if that was... is Dennis Fisher still going? I don't know. And it was quite difficult to set up, but then there would be bits that kind of fall down on the game. Anyway, I won't go into that now, but I'm definitely keeping that. We should maybe have our little games video sometime where I set up my old games. Okay, Marble Run. Everybody loves marbles. Keeping that. Articulate. That was one that we bought recently, and I'm not sure if we want to hold on to it. I think we played it once or twice. It wasn't fantastic. So I'll put that onto my pile of asking the kids. That's pile for asking the kids is there, so you can see we're going up. Bingo. I'm definitely keeping my bingo game. And we even have these ones that we got where the counters, when you're finished with your bingo game, they are magnetic, and you use this little wand to pick them up. So I'm definitely keeping that. Right, bingo game, let me just pop that on the shelf. Right, okay, we're almost through. Oh, and here's a marble. Do I want to go losing my marbles? Boom, boom, pop that in the marble box. Sorry. Just pop that straight in the marble box. An electronics thing, again, I'll ask the kids if they want to hang on to it. And then here we have, we quite often keep the kids small, you know, these toy suitcases. We quite often use those for things that don't fit into the original box, especially if you've got something like Lego. You've seen our Lego collection before. Never declutter your Lego. We've got our Lego in a huge box here that we can just... you know, put everything back in when we're finished. And we did the same with the kids when they were small with things like marbles, and these are the magnet ones. So I'll check with them if they want to hold on to that. They are quite fun to play with when their wee cousins come to play. Right, I'll check with that. Right, woo, you see the pile is growing. Picturica, it's a fun game if you don't know it. And this is the Danish, Finnish, Swedish version we have, Norwegian, but actually you can play even if you can't speak any of those languages, because it's one that's quite good for kids, because you have to spot things like spot 10 articles of clothing, or and it was a good game, but I'll check with the kids. I don't think we're going to play it again. It's one that they have in all the Danish after school club you know, in the after school clubs, they always have a lot of games, and that's where we first learnt about Picturica, because the kids would be playing it all day. And then this quiz mystery that we got, and that was actually quite good fun, so I might take that one back upstairs. I'll check with the family. If we're not going to be playing it again, then it might go. So let me see, I've got, let me just count from the bottom. I don't know if we can see here. We have all these ones. I'm going to ask them, and I've already, and I've got 2 that I will definitely give away to people in my ladies group. So there we go, that was fun. And one last thing, and I'd also forgotten about the Meccano set. I'll check with the kids again and see if they want to keep that. It is, if we check our little list for Wednesday, Anti-Procrastination Day. I know some of you had a holiday or a long weekend. You know, don't ever feel like you're kind of behind. Just jump in, you know, as Flylady says, jump in where you are. Maybe there's a few things that you want to get knocked off at your weekly home blessing list. I've changed the sheets this week. I've dusted, I've vacuumed, put out the recycling and the rubbish, and I'll take another check today because our main refuse is being picked up tomorrow. I've mopped, I did the mirrors, I did the glass doors and the windows in the zone. You saw me doing that on Monday. And the only thing that I have left actually on my list is to go through papers and documents, you know, check the living room, check in my little pamper basket what I've got lying there. And I think I'll probably do that in my afternoon break today when I'm having my cup of tea. And I'm going to go and sit outside because we are making the most of May. And even if it's not sunny outside today, maybe you can just get a wee wander around the block, and you know, just a wee change of scenery really does us the world of good. So on that note, I shall check with the family what's going and what is staying, and I hope you had a wee bit of fun going through the games, fun and games, and all I've got left to say is live long and prosper. May the Danish sugar be with you. Don't worry about spiders down here in the basement, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye for now.